Good day, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the ECOMANSA Dialogue, a program that's proudly brought to you by the School of Business and Public Administration under the Information and Communication Ministry of ECOMANSA. A dialogue series are designed to spark meaningful conversation among students, lecturers, and alumni in building a bridge between service, impact, and experience. My name is Sohna, and I'll serve as your host for today's session. Today's episode, we're signing on the spotlight and the presence, the heartbeat of Ecomansa leadership today. With us are two key executive figures of the 22nd Executive Council of Ecomansa, Ms. Fatoumata Jawla, the Vice President, and Mr. Alieu, the Secretary General. They are the center of student representation and policy, ensuring our collective voices are heard and our needs are addressed. Our theme for today's session is leadership in action, serving students and shaping the future. Together we'll explore their roles, the challenges while serving as a student leader, the progress so far, and the vision they have for the rest of their lives. Once again, honorables, thank you for joining us. To begin with, could you please briefly introduce yourself and take us a little back to what motivated you to vie for a position in the 22nd Executive Council of Ecomansa? You could start with Ms. Jawla.
Thank you so much, Sohna. I'm very glad to be here today. My name is Fatoumata Jawla, the current Vice President of ECOMANSA 22nd Executive Council. Before I continue, I have to thank our ICM. They are doing a great job to be honest. So far, since I started UTJ in ECOMANSA records, I can say this 22nd Executive Council ICM is the best so far. They are doing a great job. The collaboration and the creativity of the ministry is beyond imagination. And again, I will thank the SS Media for giving this opportunity and creating a platform. This is part of youth leadership. Yeah, so I thank you all.
You're welcome, Ms. Fatoumata Jawla. So we now move to the Secretary General, Ms. Juwara. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sohna, and then of course my co-guest, Honorable VP. Thank you so very much, and SS Media TV viewers. It's a pleasure to be here on this second episode of the ECOMANSA dialogue. As you said earlier, I am Alieu, the Secretary General of ECOMANSA 22nd Executive Council, and honestly speaking, I can see a lot of improvement and changes that this leadership has brought, and essentially that's what we invited here to talk about. That's basically what ECOMANSA has been up to, I believe, from inception of the tenure, and we hope to have an insightful session with Honorable host here. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, as Secretary General and the Vice President, you occupy some of the most critical positions in ECOMANSA. Could you describe your role and why they matter to students?
Thank you so much for this question. Definitely, I would say my role is not one of the best, but is second in line after the president's positions. We come to the vice president. Definitely, we are among the administrative body of the executive council, executive body. So, for that being the fact, I think like we have to be at the forefront in any action or any decision that we have to take that will be for the betterment of the students. And your reflection was what motivated me to vie for that this position. Being a student of SBPA, we've been observing since my first year. There are certain lapses that we always blame our leaders that are representing there. So I deem it necessary before we will be there to blame the leaders that are there. We think we have the opportunity and the creativity just to be part of the people that will bring solutions. So that was what motivated me to vie for this position. And I think I will do everything possible to make sure that we bring solution to those problems that we've been observing and encountering in this job.
To you, Mr. Jawla.
Thank you very much once again. Basically, I would start from my motivation into vying for the position that I currently serve in, and that's the Secretary General position. Essentially, being a Secretary General or administration is one thing that I'm enthusiastic about because of the passion I have when it comes to writing. This is something that is second to none among the things that I do daily or habitually. And as a result of that, it preempts my motivation into going for Secretary General position in an association I serve. And this could be proven by my track of record when I was contesting for the position. My CV clearly justified that. And essentially, I served in the 20th Executive Council, of ECOMANSA in the ICM. And technically, at the time, I was serving at an arm's length because I was not directly involved in most of the activities of the council at the time. Then I would just be writing these parties and so on. And then with the possibility of the media now, even at an arm's length, such were possible. So that is how I was involved in the ECOMANSA's activities. But then I realized that was not sufficient. It's important that as a student of the School of Business and Public Administration, I directly serve, being physically present. And then out of all the positions at the time, or when I was contesting, the one that aligns with my habits, with my vision, was the Secretary General position, and that's why it stood out. And the second question is, what is the role of the Secretary General in the Council? I would say it is the administrative engine of ECOMANSA. Anybody who knows the secretarial responsibility of any association, you realize that they serve as the main correspondent with stakeholders, which technically are the ones that keep an association moving. And when I say stakeholders here, in the case of ECOMANSA, I'm looking at the management as a primary stakeholder. I'm looking at the alumni as a primary stakeholder. I'm looking at the staff. I'm looking at the University of the Gambia Students Union. I'm looking at all donor partners and, of course, all bodies out there that are interested in academia in one way or the other. We have to make sure as a secretariat we have good collaboration and understanding with these institutions and stakeholders to ensure the objectives of ECOMANSA are achieved. And one of them is the SS Media TV that we are talking about today here. We had to sign an MOU to make sure this dialogue is possible. And that is technically the aim and objective and responsibility of the Secretariat, to ensure that MOUs, collaborations, partnerships, and so on and so forth are built in the name of ECOMANSA to ensure that our activities are not only limited within the School of Business and Public Administration, but are known globally, if not within the University of the Gambia. Thank you, Honorable.
Well said, that's interesting. Since assuming office, what key initiatives or achievement has the 22nd Executive Council of ECOMANSA delivered that you're most proud of?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very proud to answer this question. Definitely, it's not self praise, but to be honest, we are doing a great job in the School of Business and Public Administration. We assume office not more than 3 months. Say, if you can count from summer to now, it's part of administrative calendar. So, but we've achieved at least some of our policies, which include the current printing machine that we acquired through our presidents. Yeah, he makes sure that everything possible, connections and everything to make sure that definitely the policy was under him and logistic minister, but he made all the collaboration to make sure that the printing center is provided for the students of SBP. And inshallah, by next week, we'll be there to install the printing center for this student. And again, our welfare ministry, they're doing a good job. We just had a cleaning session with the general student body, and students, they turn out with large numbers, and the cleaning session went as we planned. The other one was the orientation. So far, the management was, we are very happy, to be honest. They even commented that this year orientation was one of the best of its kind. So we are very glad, and we consider it as one of our achievements. And again, our secretariat definitely, the past council, the MOUs that they were not able to process or sign with their partners, this time they are working, making everything possible to make sure those MOUs are signed. Yeah, so far these are among the many that we achieved since we assumed office.
What's the Vice President? Do you say that?
Thank you very much, Honorable. This is a difficult question, as we know that we have, what we call a quarterly ministerial report that's released anytime soon, and I'm afraid that, leaving the cat before letting the cat out of the bag. Yeah, But then, for the essence of the discussion, essentially, in the Executive Council from the 4th of July till date, that is exactly 3 months, the council was able to undertake not less than 29 major activities. 29 on records. Okay, but then out of all these, the ones that stand out, essentially, some are already highlighted by the VP, but including those are the CRC. It had been, a matter of great concern among the student community and even stakeholders, that is the student union and other sister associations, that the ECOMANSA Constitution 2018 as amended, has a lot of gaps and loopholes because it doesn't reflect the current situation at hand. When it was inserted at the time, honestly, it was one of the best. But when transitions happen in administrative problems, when transitions happen in student setting and so on, then the leadership system should also evolve. And one thing to help that process is the transition in the constitution. We call it a review or amendment. So this had been a great concern, like I said, and the 22nd Executive Council is part to initiate the process. And we can say the process has already started. Works are ongoing to ensure that this transition is possible and serves its purpose. Another one basically is the printing center that you already talked about, so I wouldn't talk much about that. But you realize that as well. Aside that, you have the Vice Chancellor knockout football tournament that BPA took home. That's not a little achievement because we have a lot of big schools that contested throughout the previous tournaments, and then BPA stood out as they made it to the finals, and of course. In fact, now we are we are almost going to the final again. So I can say there is a lot of success when it comes to sports as well, and ensuring that there is equal participation in sports. The sports ministry is trying a lot to ensure that the females are also scouted and well represented in the Vice Chancellor's football tournament. Aside that, you have a lot more. The welfare ministry ensured that the awareness campaign was successfully done, and then students at the School of Business and Public Administration, after the general cleaning exercise that we talked about, the environment still maintains its cleanliness, because cleaning at the inception and being dirtied again doesn't serve the purpose. People have to be aware of why we are cleaning. It's to ensure we have a safer and healthy environment for all, and the able welfare minister was able to work on that successfully, and including many more, but that will be coming in the activity report. We'll leave it here for now.
Okay. Yeah. So, before you continue to add on to that, we also embark on a long week capacity building training, which was organized by in collaboration with all the ministry, but it was headed by Educational Administration, and it was a success. Yeah.
That's very well done to ECOMANSA. So, as we know, every leadership journey comes with challenges. What have been the toughest moments so far, and how have you worked towards solving it?
Anyway, I want to believe I have one of the biggest challenges, although I don't want to be prejudiced because I don't know what happens in other offices as well.
Yeah.
But my challenge started before assuming office, in fact. Right? That's because during the transition process, when people showed their intentions and so on to contest for positions and the like, I think I was one of the most, unfortunate candidates at the time that had that little rapport with students, and knowing that leadership in ECOMANSA is determined by election. That means you need to have that close connection with students to ensure that you win their hearts. And that was something that unfortunately I was disadvantaged with. But then I tried to make sure I put one and one together, sold my agenda to students, let them understand that it doesn't matter the friendship we built earlier than that day. What matters is the future we are going to tackle together, not the past. Although the past tells about the present, but the present tells more about the future, not the past about the future. So essentially that was possible, alhamdulillah. But then when we walked into office, we learned that a lot of hearsays we had when we were outside council and what actually happens there are different. Council works within parameters, and these parameters are the policies, the university protocols, and so on that we must align with. And sometimes they could be too rigorous, too strict to the essence, to the extent that as a leadership you feel frustrated. A lot of concerns were raised about the printing center, and everybody technically knew it was a matter of urgency. Mm-hmm. We made a promise that when we come in the council, we're going to endeavor and deliver that printing center within a short duration of time. But when we came into office, what we found there were a lot of administrative protocols that were behind the scene that we had to clear. And then from that, we had to look for partners to sign MOUs to ensure it works out. But you realize that there are a lot of challenges out there that, one cannot sit here and disclose, right? But all in all, you realize that everybody's interest is to have a better ECOMANSA. But what is happening within and what is happening outside could be different sometimes. There's a veil, and because of the code of secrecy that we took on the 4th of July when we assumed office, I would not want to disclose all of that here. But I could tell everybody for free that we wish we found ECOMANSA better. Yeah. And we're hoping that we will make it better for our successors. Yeah.
Well said. Madam.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely, me as a person, I encounter many challenges, among many which include time management, to be honest, which is related to balancing your academic career and the leadership journey. It all started during our campaign where you have to leave your classes and then join the campaign team because they are there to support you, they are there to help you. So you cannot go and attend your sessions while they are there to campaign for you. So we find it very difficult during that time, and it continues still now because as a leader you must sacrifice both your time, everything, like physically, financially, everything, even mentally, you have to sacrifice to make sure that we are there for the students. So that was a big challenge for us, but alhamdulillah, we came through with it. We make sure that we tackled it. It doesn't affect us. So far, to say this for free, my last semester was one of the best. It was a surprise to me. Like, I think everything depends on your intention, what was your intention, and what motivates you to go for that thing. And again, after assuming office, we encounter some challenges, and we are still encountering those challenges, which include the resource problem. Definitely, management, they are there to support us, but not in financial aspect. So we find it very difficult, make sure to push through with our policies and our agendas that we want to solve students' problem, but resources is always our problem. But we are doing our best. I mean, teamwork, collaboration with the president is very much helpful. He's there to guide us and to put us to make sure that we reach out to necessary people that will be there to help us. And also the guidance and the continuity and the connection with the past executive council is also a challenge for us because as a new executive, you are just like a baby. No matter how you think you understand the system, you must have someone that will guide you. But what I observe in this university, once the executive body they are done, their thing is ended, they all go their ways. Sometimes even if you meet them before they respond to your needs, it takes time. So that also is a challenge for us. But we are really trying our best to make sure that we overcome them.
ECOMANSA represents a very large and diverse student body. How do you ensure inclusivity and fairness in leaderships?
Okay, that's a very difficult question, knowing that students are out there and this video is going to be released to them and everybody will hear whatever we are saying here. So we try to be as much faithful as possible. Okay. As a leadership, we believe more in collaboration, and that is being demonstrated at the executive level itself, right? When the VP talked about the curriculum capacity building training. In history of ECOMANSA, what happens is every minister, almost all ministries have a policy on capacity building training. But then usually it is done separately. One minister will do it in 1 month, the other one will do it the following month or another time, and sometimes it's crazy. Okay, when you look at resource mobilization, you look at time management and so many factors, student participation is all not, sometimes there can be conflicting interests along the line or collusions. But then as a leadership, we come together, collaborate as executives that have similar policies on that, and then we have a week-long capacity building training that we believe will serve as, a learning point for subsequent councils, and then can even be a matter of legacy for the 22nd Executive Council. Okay, now let's boil it down to the student participation level, right? For now, the major activities that directly involve student participation will be the capacity building training because they are the ones that we were offering the training for, and the cleaning exercise, and then the orientation program. Looking at these activities, from the videos, some of the people that have access to them, the pictures, you see that there was massive collaboration. The executive alone couldn't have done that. Okay, as an executive council, we are just 17 in number. But when you look at the cleaning exercise, the picture and the videos that you see, the mass number of students you have there shows that there was active collaboration between the executive and the student body, which would not have been possible if at all the executive was sidelining them. Okay, the information about the cleaning was a little, in fact, bit urgent. We were even thinking of, drawing 1 or 2 plans to ensure students' attention are, derived, and knowing that it was going to be at a time that students don't have class at Faraba. How do you think about, or how do you manage to get students to campus at that time? It was going to be difficult. But the image from the inception that we sent, okay, that is what essentially makes this possible. And there is one thing that is so special to me about the executive that the ICM is doing, and that's every dispatch that is released, below it is undersigned, in service, we unite. That's the motto of ECOMANSA. Yeah. That is not something we found, let's say we brought, it's not something new. We found it there as a motto. But reminding students that in service, we unite with you. It means it's not possible without their collaboration. Anything we do, we are just 17 in number. We cannot influence the activities of about 1,000 or 2,000 plus students without their collaboration. So it all boils down to that. Thank you.
Right. Definitely, HCR has said everything, but like just to add on to it, definitely our collaboration with the student body is very effective this time, because we try to make them understand that the ECOMANSA is not like you have to come out of this. Once we are a student of SPPA, you are part of ECOMANSA. So you shouldn't wait like people to invite you or call you for any of the activity that we are to undertake. And thank God they've understood that, and with the help of our ICM, they're doing a great job. Every time they are on campus interviewing students about their lectures or like how they feel the environment. And I think that also like boosts their confidence, and then to make sure that they connect with us. Because there's not just us see us as an executive body or their representative. They should see themselves in us, that we are there and we should work together. So definitely they are doing a great job, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you, SG, and thank you, Madam Vice President. We'll take a break and we'll be back. Welcome back from our short break. Looking ahead, what major goals or projects are you looking forward to achieving before the end of your tenure? To start with, Madam.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. I'll take you through my policies. As a vice president, one of my role is to deputize the president. So away from my policies, any policy of the president should be my mandatory to make sure it is achieved. So it's part of like my policies as well. So my policies are not that much. The most important ones there are the orientation. So orientation is two orientation. The first one has already happened, and the second one will be held in February of next year, inshallah. So the other one is the mentorship program, which we already initiated and is ongoing. I'm hoping to achieve that one also before the end of our tenure. And the other one is the leadership training and the career preparation, where I think like as a School of Business and Public Administration is the biggest school in the university so far. And most of our students, they will complete their programs, but they will not get any form of career guidance. When I say career guidance, what I mean is these internship opportunities. Most of them, they find it very difficult to get an internship opportunity. So it's part of my policy to make sure that we provide at least some of the internship opportunity to those students, to make sure that to prepare them before they graduate. So far, these are among the many.
Thank you very much. This is a very important question because it tells students out there that these are things that they're expecting us to be doing anytime soon. Essentially, one of the major activities we have on the pipeline is the ECOMANSA research trip. It has been a matter of serious concern that research itself is expensive, and ECOMANSA is taking a challenge to bring a newer system of research called international, and not necessarily international only, multinational. I think that's how we call it, because we want to go beyond the boundaries of the Gambia into Senegal, and in fact, beyond Senegal into the south, if possible. But as we speak right now, efforts are really ongoing, but then the concern is the financial resource and the executive, facilitation, because this is a matter of international, activity, and therefore you need executive, procedures at national level, to ensure that this is possible. The diplomacy is very important in this process. Okay. Another activity we have on the pipeline, which also is a matter of great importance to the School of Business and Public Administration students, essentially, I would say, could be the final that we are heading to as BPA. I know very well that every student of BPA is optimistic that we are going to claim that trophy. And how are we going to take that trophy back home is really very important. But we really are optimistic about that. Yeah.
Well said, SG.
Yeah.
Many students often see leaders on the front line, but rarely know the personal sacrifices they go behind the wall. How do you balance your academic, personal growth, and leadership responsibilities?
This is a very difficult question, to be honest, and it's part of the challenges that I mentioned here. Balancing your academic career and the leadership journey is something that is not easy at all. It's very difficult from the start. So, me personally, this leadership career is not something new to me. Since I was young, I was involved in this leadership activities. Things, these small cafes, anywhere I am, I make sure that I hold a position there. I don't just want to be there. People be deciding for me and I'll be just there to blame them. I want to be part of the solution and to make sure that I make changes. Going down to my senior school career, I serve as head girl both in Arabic and English school. So continue to the ex-student associations where I serve as a VP and to the ECOMANSA level. So throughout this journey, I've been encountering difficulties. One is the time management. So you have to sacrifice, make sure that you balance, you give time to your leadership activities and as well as your academic program. Both of them are important, to be honest, but at least we have to balance them. We are there for students. Once they give you the trust to mount that positions, you take an oath that I'll be there for you, I will sacrifice for you. So after mounting that position, you don't forget that. Make sure that you be there for them, you sacrifice by all the means, your time, physical, mental, everything, even financially. If you are strong, you will have to do that to make sure that you balance it. So definitely these are things.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vice President.
Thank you once again, Honorable. It's a very important question, but I want to introduce the question with, an anecdote sort of, okay? Or the answer with an anecdote, and that's basically what makes it difficult for us to be able to manage time. And that takes us to your earlier question, that's the pipeline of activities that we're expecting to undertake, right? If you look at the research tip I was talking about, it needs a lot of rigorous preparation that cannot be done in a day or within a week or month. You have to, engage with a lot of people, which is too demanding and consultative, because you have to make sure you reach every corner, if possible, to get every facet of experience, every facet of support that you can get, right? And including the research, you also have the ECOMANSA retreat coming, which also demands a lot of rigorous preparation, right? Financially and so on and so forth, as well as logistics. Inclusive to these two, we are preparing for the ECOMANSA sponsored work as well, which also needs a lot of underground logistics and preparation. These essentially are too demanding because they are not done within the executive level. And the funny part is as well, they are not also done within the student level as well, where you just need to meet the students and engage them. It deals with outsiders whose shadows are sometimes outside yours. So you have to adjust yourself to make sure your shadow aligns with theirs. Whatever you do is always in line with theirs. And these are people that are very busy or difficult to deal with sometimes. Not to really blame, but we know how the country works. So essentially, it all boils down to the challenge of making sure that you as a player, key player, between the students you represent and the stakeholders out there, how do you make sure you as a key player connects these two without affecting yourself as a person. And as well, academic influence. Yes, as a student leader, there is a lot of expectation from you. I think we are seen to believe, we are believed to have more than one head. I don't know how it's possible, but after all your effective service, you are expected to do well. Because when graduations come, convocations and the like, people are interested in knowing, what did the president have, what did the VP have, boiling down to the last executive member. So in essence, it's really challenging. Yeah.
So, for this question, what do you want your legacy as the 22nd Executive Council of ECOMANSA to be remembered for?
Thank you so much, Sohna, for this wonderful question. What we want to be remembered for is we want to be seen as a role model in the council. In the School of Business and Public Administration, not just as an executive body. In a sense, from that, what I mean from that is, I don't want students to just see us as someone who is there just to receive a certificate. That's what most of the students are saying. This executive body, they are just there for themselves and so on. So any activities that we are doing, we want them to see us in the forefront so that we can be as there as an example, and they can see us as a role model that anytime. And I think that would make sure that to motivate other schools to participate in this leadership process. So I want us to see us as a role model.
Thank you. I want to believe at the moment legacies are already in place, but we need to add more that we could be remembered for, right? And the first one is the review, the constitutional review, right? It had been a matter of great concern from the 19th and 18th Executive Council down to the 22nd. So we realized that having that in place and with the intentions that the document is going to serve for a long and reasonable time before it will need a review, because we want to have a master constitution now that really addresses a lot of foreseen circumstances that we expect to arise in the long run, right? That would be a legacy for the executive. And then, of course, the curriculum capacity building training, showing collaboration among the executive members. We want the next executive council to try to build on this as a foundation stone laid. And then, in the long run, executive councils will be doing the same thing routine. Okay, that too will be a legacy. And then the printing center. Anyway, that had been a long process that started, but God's willing, it's the 22nd Executive Council that is able to materialize it. So that too is already a legacy. And you look at the mentorship program, a very structured mentorship program that is being put in place also is a legacy that the 22nd Executive Council can boast about. So in a sense, we have a lot of things that currently the students see happening that were not there, we believe, and we believe the next executive councils will make reference to, will want to tell others, we want to do like the 22nd Executive Council did. That's what we want to hear, not we want to be different from them because they were not doing it the right way. Legacies are supposed to be built upon and not necessarily to be trashed into the bins. Yeah.
Well said. And on that note, I would like to congratulate the 22nd Executive Council for the job well done. So finally, what advice would you have for students who aspire to become leaders in ECOMANSA and beyond?
Thank you so much to my viewers and the colleagues out there. Always have confidence in you. Like sometimes there are certain things you don't observe it in yourself, but there are other people that will tell you that you can do this, you can do that. So once you are informed about it, make sure that you work towards it. And so, like at the beginning, you will get fear that I cannot do this, but you have to try. Nobody is perfect. We are not here like the way we are here today is different from things we assume the office. So once you assume the office, you will see a difference. You have to build your skill, your confidence, there are a lot of differences. So you have to just build confidence and make sure that you go for what you want, and make sure that you take an individual decision, no matter what people tell you, and no matter what motivation you get from people. You have to be ready, mentally ready, physically, and everything. Because if you are not ready, like you are not, it's not your like individual decision at the end. You will not do as expected. You just be there as like say, I don't even want this. It was people who asked me to do this. So the decision must come. The final decision must come from you. Even people motivate you and then they push you to do it because they see the potential in you. So you have to go for it and make sure you get that individual decision. Okay.
Well done. Thank you. To you, SG.
Okay, my advice will be very brief, and that is, as young people, we have a very narrow path, but our choice is to make it wide or leave it the way it is. And that depends on the mindset. And that's why Pablo Picasso said, the mind is everything. What you think you become. If you think you are incapable, your mindset is going to dictate how your muscles and how your ambitions move. And that is going to limit your potentials. But if you think you are going to do it because you are more than capable than us that are sitting here, which I believe in fact is the case, you're going to do better than we are able to do. So in essence, let us believe in ourselves. Self-motivation, intrinsic motivation is one of the most powerful propelling factor in a person. It keeps you alive and keeps you going. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our distinguished guests, Secretary General, and then the Vice President of the Second Executive Council for sharing your experience and your goal with us. And to our audience, I hope this conversation gives you a clear picture of what student leadership in action. And I hope it inspires you to take part in building a stronger community of ECOMANSA. So now I would want to give my distinguished guests to give their closing remarks. To you, Secretary General.
Thank you very much. I think this is a very big opportunity for me to appreciate the effort of all the executive members, but as well, in particular, committee members in the secretariat. I want to believe all committee members in the various secretariat responsibilities or ministries are working tirelessly hard, because that's what making ECOMANSA move. But then down to my people, from my honorable DSG, Mr. Mbye, this man is an engine behind the secretariat and he's doing very well with the entire team in the committee. Thank you very much, the General Student Body, for the collaboration, and of course, the viewers. We're happy to be here.
Thank you, Esther.
Thank you so much, Sohna. I want to first of all to thank the president of the Second Executive Council. I want to do justice if I can start with him. The honest man is really a leader. He's always on my neck, even I'm not available. He's never angry. He's there to advise me, to guide me. So I will thank him for that. And again, to our executive members, they are always there to support. They are like, I don't know how to put it, sir. They are more than what we expected from them. So we really thank them, and with their committee members, they are always there to support us. And again, the SS Media, we thank you for giving us this opportunity to make sure that we are always here to showcase our experience and as well as our challenges that will make a difference in the near future. This, as I mentioned earlier, is part of youth leadership. So to make sure that we empower young leaders to be in the area, to make sure that people see them and then hear from them. Thank you.
For that note, well done to the Secretary General and the Vice President of the 22nd Executive Council of ECOMANSA. Thank you. I'm Sohna, and this was the ECOMANSA. We hope to see you the next time as we continue to grow, learn, and share. Until then, bye.